easy go.
Right guys, this is going to be a video detailing a guide on how to get the 110k score for a garden world in a Fireteam. So this isn't solo, of course. This is how to easily do it, get the 110k, which is not hard. So first off, I'll show you the challenge card. So we had a 16 power handicap, arc singe, extinguish, match game and iron. Arc singe is the best burn for this Nightfall. Extinguish is a free modifier because you're not going to play to wipe anyways. And iron is also a free modifier when you apply it, because on Prestige Nightfalls that's kind of on anyways. Prestige enemies have a larger health pool anyway, so iron doesn't even do anything. That's a tip for you. So for me, for character loadouts, I'm using Stormcaller as we're going Arc Singe. I'm using Bottom Tree for landfall, and of course Pulse Nade. You need Pulse Nade on, as it's very important for the boss, and it's just a great grenade. I'm using Lunafaction Boots for the automatic weapon reloads. With the Devil's Mananan, I have an Arc Mananan on, and I have Warcliffe Coil on also. Chuck, our next Fireteam member, he's using Striker Titan, and he's actually going Bottom Tree because Bottom Tree has a perk called Trample, and it extends the duration of your super, which is kind of good. Well, really good. It's a better super on the Bottom Tree. The Pulse Nade's not as strong, but it doesn't matter. Pulse Nades wreck the boss anyways. Obviously, you paired that with Armentarium, so he still gets double pulse. Hitman is going to be our support class. He also has Ikelos shotgun on, avoid one. He's using the usual loadout that you would for Nightstalker. You don't need to use an Ikelos shotgun, which I'll talk more about when we get into the run. But you can still have one on, avoid one, preferably if you're going to do it. That's the character loadout and everything. On with the score run. So a couple of us were just popping boons. Could have done this earlier, but forgot to do so. So any runs that you're doing, start getting to the habit of buying boons, popping them, popping medallions, because people are wanting to farm for tokens now. The Nightfall is a good way to do it, which I'll make a separate video about. But yeah, make sure you're popping your boons and stuff for the increased tokens, because they are going over to Forsaken. So with this first section, you just want to kill all the goblins. There's nothing much to this bit. They aren't tanky, so it's okay. They all do solar burn, so they're not... Well, we haven't got solar burn on, but they don't do arc is what I'm saying, so we're good that way. Now with the forest, it's RNG based, so you might get a god RNG forest with 5 hydras, which is great because they give you a lot of score. But this strat's going to work whether you get hydras or you don't, so no matter what your forest, you're still going to get 110k as long as you follow the modifiers and all of that. Now you've seen there, Pulse Naded the Cyclops. It was doing critical hit damage, and that's going to be the same on the boss because he's basically a bigger version of a Cyclops. Same thing. Now we were kind of unprepared for this. We ended up getting a bad plate, a fallen Sniper Shank plate. Obviously we're on arc burn, so they can melt you pretty quick no matter what the handicap, so just be careful what plates you're getting. Try and promote team shooting as much as you can and stuff. The idea of this run as well is to basically get all your points from the forest and the Nightfall itself. We're not really farming any points at all from the boss, so you can take your time up until your 50. You know, you get the time up until your 15 minutes, and then your score reduces by half. You've got 18 minutes, so you can take your time with the forest. You don't have to rush it or anything like that. Now I end up having a super, so I think I end up using it, which probably shouldn't have done. Wasn't a lot of ads on this plate. To be honest, I'm not really playing Stormcaller for its super. It's more the fact of its pulse nades and what it can do for the boss. Plus we have a Tether as well. We're going to get constant. That's the whole idea of these score runs, to keep a constant supply of supers. And it's always good to have a Nightstalker in there. You don't need more than one. More than one you can play 2 Nightstalkers and then a Roman super. It will work. Sometimes better on the higher handicaps. But we're only on a 16 handicap, so it's nothing. So we can do that. We end up getting a Hydra here. There you go. 3.5k for 1 Hydra, which is really good. Like I said, you don't need to have a Hydra to get this score, to get the 110. Just make sure you clearing out every ad on each plate. See, so what happened here is the Cyclopses on the other side can still get you. They kind of open up when you're on the second to last plate. So you can actually damage them as well. You can start to damage them. But say if I was on a plate before this, you can't. They will say that they were immune. Which is kind of weird. So they can't, when they open up, you know, take them here. Don't open the final gate to then take them there, because that's more dangerous. You just want to, you know, put an Empower and Rift Arm and just scout them down from here. Another thing with us having match game on, forgot to mention there was 2 of us that had 2 Arc Manannans and there was 1 Void Manannan as well. Up here. Now at this point, you know, I didn't have my super, but our Nightstalker did, which is good because we're going to be coming up to some Tether points, which is probably, you know, it's really important to know where to tether and where the Nightstalker can keep his, you know, Orpheus rig super going. Okay, so now we're waiting on our support class to do his Tether, and then we can start working from there, picking up all his orbs. I end up pulsing that, as I don't quite have my super. I think Chuck used this. No, Chuck's using his now, so he's going ahead in the next bit. He has a better super, to be honest. Like I said, Trample, bottom tree, Striker. No one uses this because they all assume top tree is the best, which... yeah, probably because of its shoulder charge, but in niche circumstances, bottom tree can be good. Now we've got a Void Shield, so we need our guy with Void Manannan to take that, help out. Did get my Arc Melee in. That gives me an increased Pulse Nade energy as well, which is nice on bottom tree Stormcaller. Now, what you're seeing there, because we were so quick at getting there, we ended up taking out the Harpies all in one because all the Arc Shields procced on each other. You've got to be quick to get them to be grouped up like that, because if you leave it any longer, they start separating. That's a little tip there for that bit. Now we're going to have a Hydra here guaranteed. So this is 1 Hydra where you're guaranteed to have one in your run, which is kind of nice. You're going to have 2 snipers and a couple of Harpies, and a couple of more Harpies spawn with the Hydra. No problem, we have 2 Manannans to deal with that, and then we can, I think, we coil down the Hydra. Try to be a bit reserved with your coil because we have not got heavyweight on, so you're going to get less heavy drops. I'll explain why that's more important later. It's a good time to super here for me. Stormcaller is really good on trash mobs. It's when it comes to mages where you know, you can see the damage I'm doing. I'm not doing a lot. The damage there that melted him was the Pulse Nade, not my super. Once the mage is down, we take down the box. And then we kill the Fanatics. Once we've killed the Fanatics, the 2 Roman super guys, so me and Chuck, would sit back and let Hitman, the support class, do the tethering. Because what happens here, once you take the box down, as you can see, all the goblins will group up at the door to try and stop you, but that's a good tether point. So Hitman there has tethered 3 to 4 times, which means that me and Chug, we can do our Roman supers. So we can do one here, and then we can go back for orbs, which you'll see me do. An Arc Strider would have been better. The problem with the Arc Strider, it doesn't have pulse nade accessible to it, which would be good if it did. But the reason why I'm on a Warlock, it's more for boss damage rather than ad clear. The Striker Titan's a lot better for that. So I'm going back for orbs. You also get points for orb pickup. That's again another thing about that. I got 210 there just for picking up some orbs. I also have a super ready to go for the next section.
Does that count?
Actually, yes.
Okay, so there's still plenty of ads for me to super, so I can super here also. If your tether for whatever reason, you know, dies, or he maybe didn't keep his tether, I can at least create more orbs for him to keep the super chain going as well. Okay, so once we're done with that, again, if you don't have a super, just pick up everything you can. So I'm halfway there. That's the key, super chain, keeping that super chain going for your score run. Okay, so this is going to be the second Minotaur that we're going to have. So one guy will take the box out, and then 2 guys wait behind, and we can actually pulse nade the Minotaur, and he'll sit in it for quite a while. Look, he's one shot, and there you go. Now we can start working on the box, 2 snipers, and there's a good bunch of Minotaurs here, all mages. You could use coil on them, you are going to get your heavy back. Obviously we have our support class. He has a Void Icolos, which is nice. There's a lot of Void Minotaurs and it is handy for that. The only thing is, it's probably better just to run with 3 coils, because the coil can deal with Minotaurs no problem. Not only that, coil is way better for the boss. And it's more forgiving if you have more coils. Either that, or make your shotgun arc, or even run Acreus. I would suggest 3 coils would be better, because you'll see when we get to the boss why. It's more efficient to do it like that. Okay, so we're not using super there because there's only like 4 to 5 goblins, and we do have a tether or 2 here, which is good for any supers that, you know, any of our Roman supers that don't have their super. Then easy way to get that, because for this next section you want supers. You want to clear it quick. You don't want to wait here too long, because once you get to 18 minutes, that's it, you start losing score. Which we're on 115k now, so we've just broke the threshold. But we've got plenty of ads to kill still. Right now what we're focusing is snipers. We want to kill all snipers, especially the one at the back. The reason being is once the bubble comes up, the sniper gets stuck in the bubble kind of, and you can't kill him until you take the bubble. Whereas if you take the goblin down early, he's not a problem for later. So we've got a Roman super go off there. Our support class does his tether. A good opportunity for me to do mine. What you'll find as well with match game on, if you are supering Minotaurs, call it out. Like at this point I was calling it out that I had void shields, because my super's going to do nothing with match game being on. To call it out to your team members if there's a void shield be taken down. So you can blow all your supers. You don't need any supers coming up to the boss, especially Roman ones. There you go, just to clear out this as quick as you can. We've still got like 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes of full 3.5 until it goes half, but You can do a Tether here also, it's a good point. There's a lot of fanatics, so don't use a Roman Super unless you're a Stormcaller. If you Titan smash those fanatics, you know what's going to happen. Also, there's another Hydra here which I forgot about, so there you go. There's 2 Hydras guaranteed in this run, not counting in the forest, which you get, which is 3.5k each on these specific modifiers. Obviously, once you start upping your score on those high score runs, the Hydras, you know, they'll go up to 7k's, 8k's, so on. What you want to, at this point, you want full heavy for you. For the 2 guys that have coil on, they need 5 coils each. They need, whereas because we had the support class on a void shot. If you had coil on, you wouldn't. You'd be fine. You could do a, you know, each guy could have a 3 and a 3. Now I'm just showing you little points where you can snipe the boss from. Say you're doing a spindle strike, you can go in those minotaurs, those offline minotaurs, and kill him that way. There's safe zones if you like. That's what these are. Make sure that your Striker Titan and your Stormcaller have pulse nades. So Striker Titan will have 2, I'll have 1, so that's 3 pulse nades. Plus you've got plenty of coil, and the support class can use his shotty. So we're basically going to one phase this boss. We have no need to continue. This isn't a high score run. This is just a how to achieve 110k, especially for the armor. You know, you can masterwork the helmet with this. We're just showing you what to do. This is why we have the Warlock here mainly for the pulse nade and the Lunar Rift. The Lunar Rift makes it easier with coil, just to full auto fight it. If you want to do an Empowering Rift right in front of him, you need to wait. Then you need to pre-pulse nade, and then just spam coil. Just spam your heavy as much as you can. As you're seeing there, pretty much melt him, and that was only with 2 coil. That's why I'm suggesting do 3 coil, so have all your characters on coil, just in case one of you guys, because we done one run where I only had 4 coil, the other guy had 5, and we didn't one phase the boss. He was one shot, but that's where, you know, having 3 coils, you know, say one guy has 3, one guy has 4, it doesn't matter. Coil's gonna wreck him no matter what, and the pulse nades help out as well. So that was a easy 157. But yeah, that's an easy strat on how to get the 110k plus for the emblem and aura. Hope you enjoyed the run. Thank you.